Mock-up images on your Etsy store are a thing that can create many customers and long-term success on Etsy, or they can create zero sales on Etsy and can really hurt your store in the long run. So if you clicked on this video, maybe you have an inkling that you may fall into this category of, hey, am I making these mock-up mistakes right now? And how do I go about fixing these mock-up mistakes? And in this video, I'm going to go over the 5 most common mock-up mistakes that I've seen across all of the stores that I have reviewed in the past. And I hope that you aren't making these mock-up mistakes, but if you are, hopefully by the end of this video, you know what you're doing wrong and how to correct them to get those sales on your Etsy and print-on-demand business. Besides that, at the very beginning of this video, I wanted to give a special announcement and say that I am running a How to Earn Your First 10K with print-on-demand and Etsy training that you can join in the links in the description below. I did want to mention that I am closing off the training for the last 2 weeks of December, but I am running a training multiple times during the first week of January. So if you miss out in December for the training, I am rerunning it in January, and we are going live again on how to earn your first 10K with Etsy and print on demand. This is something that I've been wanting to teach on for a really long time because it is a really real type of goal. There are so many 5 to 6 figure Etsy and print on demand businesses that have started in 2022 alone. And in 2023, I am so excited to teach what I know with Etsy and print on demand and how we can grow many more stores to that 5 to 6 figure mark with their own print on demand businesses. So don't forget to check that out down below and sign up for a time slot for that training. Besides that, we're going to hop right into this video here. So the first common mistake that I see with a lot of new Etsy and print-on-demand businesses is that they are not using high quality mock-up images when they post their listings on Etsy. And a lot of the times that can do you a lot more harm than good. And I know a lot of new Etsy businesses, when you're starting out, your startup budget is very low. So the idea of investing $5 to $20 in mock-ups may seem very scary at first. It might be kind of a moment of, okay, how serious am I about my business to invest $20 into high quality mock-up images? But I can't urge you enough to do that when you start out. And even by buying just maybe a few images to start out to get those very high quality mock-up photos onto your Etsy store can really go a long way. And then as you get some sales coming in, you can reinvest into your business and get more and more high quality mock-up images while still getting a profit over time because you're increasing the quality of your store and thus you're increasing your potential of more sales over time. So please do invest in some good high quality mock-up images when you first begin, because whether you know it or not, your competitors on Etsy are already doing that. And it's really hard to enter into a competition with just maybe a printify white background type of mock-up image. Those just are not good enough when you start off with your Etsy and print on demand business. And there is such thing that I like to label as the Etsy aesthetic. And the Etsy aesthetic is more of those boho, maybe minimalist, and also just those very high quality types of mock-up images. So I can't stress enough to really just spend that $20 budget and find some really nice types of mock-up images. So some of my favorite mock-up stores I'm going to list to the side here. So I really like Dolly Mocks, I like Moody Mocks, I like Moonlit Mock-ups, and then also there's a store called Moneymaker Mock-ups. These are all just really amazing stores to go to, and some of them have video types of mock-ups now that can really increase the high quality feel and vibe to your new Etsy and print on demand business. So I can't recommend these stores enough, and really getting into that competitive mindset that, hey, if you're not competing with these other stores who have really high quality mock-ups, then your store is going to suffer by default by just not making that initial investment into your business. The second type of mock-up mistake that I see is not changing the transparency of a design overlaid on your mock-up image. Now, this can be a huge problem, let's say you're doing a design over a t-shirt and the design is over a black t-shirt and you don't adjust the transparency at all, then you may post the listing on your Etsy account and a customer might purchase it thinking that it is a screen printed design. Now, here's something to really consider in the print-on-demand world is most print-on-demand companies and providers use direct-to-garment printing. What direct-to-garment printing is ink infused into the material of your t-shirt that they are printing. So what happens in this stage is a fading of the ink onto the material of the t-shirt since it's infused into the t-shirt. The benefits of it being infused into the t-shirt is that it has a lot of long-term longevity in the quality of the print. So the quality of the print will generally stay the same as time goes on. However, the downside is usually the initial print is going to look faded just because it's infused into the material of the t-shirt. So let's say you don't change the transparency on the design over your t-shirt, then generally what happens is your customer is expecting a very bright type of printed design on their t-shirt. They get it in the mail and maybe they end up giving you a 1-star review on Etsy, which can really tank your store because 1-star reviews Etsy actually takes quite seriously, especially if your quality of your mock-up image isn't equaling the quality of how it prints and how it's delivered to the customer. That's what you really need to edit on every single mock-up image is the transparency of the overlaid design. Generally, the parameters that I work my designs at is 70% transparency all the way to 90%. I will go as low as 70% for very brightly and lightly lit types of mock-up images. You'll find a lot of different images on Etsy are also highly edited in their colors and also brightness or contrast. So you really need to match how those are edited with your design overlays as well. And sometimes that could just be taking down the transparency to that 70% mark. So the third common mock-up mistake that I see is something that you may not think about, but it's when you are creating your listing on Etsy and you upload your mock-up image on Etsy to that listing. Now, the number one mistake that I have seen is people not zooming in their thumbnail image. So the thumbnail image is way far in the distance. So I want you to think of this example. Let's say someone typed in gift for teacher on Etsy and they're scrolling down the search and they see a lot of different types of thumbnail images and they see yours. However, it's so zoomed out and you can barely read the text on the thumbnail image for your listing. That's a common issue that a lot of people don't think about when we're talking about mock-up mistakes is they're not zooming in on their thumbnail image enough that when people are scrolling, it's not really clickable because people are like, oh, I can't even read what this listing says, so I'm just going to scroll past it because there's other listings near that listing that you can see clearly what the text on maybe a mug says or maybe a t-shirt says, so they're more likely to click into that rather than taking in the extra effort and clicking into your listing and zooming in on the image so they can read what the t-shirt or what the mug says on that listing. Hopefully that makes more sense as we go along in this video, but just make sure that you are zooming in that thumbnail image. So the fourth common issue I see is people overlay their designs over objects or hair in a mock-up image. And this is a common issue that can really tell your customer that, hey, maybe this is a drop shipping type of Etsy store, or maybe that this store is just inauthentic and it's not a real store. A lot of people lose their trust when they see a design overlaid over, let's say, hair. What if my hair is in the design of a mock-up image? A lot of people do not take that well, and sometimes that could be the reason why a lot of people are clicking into your listing and then clicking off of it because the hair is in the design. So generally when you are overlaying your design, you want to make sure that you are cutting out the design portion that's in the hair, or even just buying mock-up images where the hair is not directly where your designs will lay. So there's a few ways to go about fixing this issue, and I'm going to show you one of those ways in just another second here on my computer. Now we're back onto my laptop. I'm going to show you how to edit in Canva and erase certain parts of maybe hair that's right near where the design is. So we're going to erase the design in a place that where the hair maybe usually would overlay. So first of all, I'm going to place this design. I'm going to rotate it slightly. And as you can see, this type of design we could get away with just placing like that. And I think that would be fine for this design. Again, for every type of design, you do want to edit the transparency to how it would look. This is a lighter type of edited mock-up, so I'm just editing the design so it's about at a transparency of 74. I changed it to. I know that my head might be slightly in the way of the transparency area, but again, I'm putting this transparency just at 74 for this. So one of the issues we can come across again is the fact that the hair may be right where this may look really unrealistic. So let's say I wanted to push it up to that. And although I think the placement would be a little bit crazy that high, let's say that the hair was just slightly in the way, there's a way to edit this out in Canva. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit image. Then I am going to go to the background remover feature. You do need Canva Pro for this feature, and I do have a 30-day free trial link in the description below. But if I were to use this background remover feature, I would click on that, and then I would click on this erase button here. So generally this is a lot of eyeing. I am not going to lie. This is a little bit extra of a process. You could use the erasing feature in GIMP. You can use it in Photopea, and then also Adobe Photoshop. There are ways to erase elements of a transparent layer as well. But for the purpose of a lot of people use Canva, I know, who follow me on this YouTube channel and who are in the print-on-demand world, I thought that this would be a really cool way to do this as well. Besides that, we're going to erase this here. So as you can see, it's right at the corner of this R to the top of the R. So I'm going to kind of eyeball where that is as we erase here, since we don't have the real image kind of overlaid. So I'm just going to erase this here like so, and then I'm going to click on done, and we're going to see if that erased correctly. I feel like maybe I erased too much. Actually, I think that's pretty good. I think that actually really worked out. So I'm going to take the transparency down just a hair more, just to make it more realistic to how it will print. But yeah, I think that's pretty good as far as deleting that area where the hair is. Besides that, there are ways to do this on applications such as Photopea, GIMP, and then also Adobe Photoshop. If you guys want to see those tutorials, definitely comment down below, and I will try to make those in future videos to come here as well. So the fifth common mock-up mistake that I see is inconsistency of design placement over the mock-up images. So generally what I will look at when I'm reviewing shops is how consistent their design placement is among maybe a white bell on canvas t-shirt to a black bell on canvas t-shirt with a different model. So maybe you may have a store and you may have multiple mock-up images, and you may have a lifestyle mock-up image and then also a flat lay mock-up image. And a lot of the times I see for stores that are having low sale volumes is that they may have their design placed way high up, almost near the collar line of one mock-up image, and then the second image will be way too low on the model, that the mock-up image from the flat lay to the lifestyle mock-up image just do not correlate, and they are inconsistent between the two. And this can really throw your customers off. It can tell the customers, hey, how does this listing print? Does it print correctly? So you want to make sure that it's accurate to both the lifestyle and the flat lay images. And then you want to make sure that it's consistent to how it will actually print on your back end of Printify or any other type of print-on-demand company. So you need to make sure that everything is consistent. So you first of all get high reviews, that your item looks correct on how it prints, and then second of all, you increase your trust with your customer or potential buyers. So guys, besides that, don't forget to join my training in the link in the description below. Sign up for that, and I'm excited to see anyone who wants to join me in that training. Don't forget to also subscribe. Stick around for the blooper reel because y'all know one is coming, and I will see you guys in the next video here. How in the world that I'm going to repeat that. The great part of it being infused into the t-shirt is that I'm going to record that video after this. I'm going to record both videos after this. I should write that down. I feel like this neck cowl, like it just doesn't get any better.